Hi, I'm Hannah.
And I'm Scott.
And we're the Norwoods.
And this is our tiny house.
We're in Cocoa, Florida. We've been living here for about a year and a half.
And it's 8 by 21 feet. We live on a 55 by 90 foot lot that we own, and we live at Peacewind Community.
And although our tiny house is on wheels, we plan on keeping it here because we love the peace that we experience here in Peacewind.
One of the unique things about our property that I personally love is not only do we have a beautiful tiny house, but we have a beautiful yard. And it's really important to us to have a hybrid living, an indoor and outdoor experience. We love the outdoors. In fact, let me show you where the magic happens. This is predominantly the workspace that we use to build all the different things you'll see on property and inside. One of the reasons why having a covered workspace is so important is because you can be out here in really any weather. It was very tough in the beginning to get really anything done, especially before the shed. Everything was just piled up in the tiny house. I was having to move things out and then put them back in as soon as I was done. There wasn't a lot of organization. I would say the most important part when you're building one out yourself is to have a dedicated workspace. If I had had this in the beginning, it would have sped everything up, truly. One of my favorite parts about the property, I love surfing personally. I built this little board rack here for all my decks here. We got some foamies for the newbies. We got another foamy here, my wife on there. And it was so simple. I just made it with just a couple pieces of reinforced steel there, just making it happen. Next up on our little tour is our chicken corner over here. You'll notice that we have some empty beehives. I know some of you in the comments will be like, why would you put it so close to the chickens? Don't worry, we just got these. We're gonna put them over the fence over yonder so it's not gonna affect our space in here. But this is the chicken casa. This is where they reside. So we originally started just with this beautiful piece of work. This was a wedding gift. We actually built out our new chicken coop, our new and upgraded one here. It's a one step at a time process. They didn't build Rome in a day. You're not gonna build your dream life in a day. And so now the chickens have their chicken mansion over here. Adjacent to our beautiful chicken coop area, we have our lounge. Follow me. So one of my favorite uses for this area is really just the grilling aspect. I've been getting a lot more into grilling. This was a gift from one of my friends from church, and she was like, hey, do you want to grill? And I said, do I want a grill? Of course I do. So she totally hooked me up, dropped it off here. We got some tower gardens that we actually recently just harvested and cleaned out. We're gonna replant. We love hydroponics.
So I wanted to chime in when it comes to our tower gardens. The convenience of having it over here near our grill was that we can pluck off some fresh vegetables and throw them on our grill. And this could be kind of the beginning of our phase of having an outdoor kitchen, because that is one of our many goals. There's so much to see here, so let's go. This is our lovely fire pit area. This is where we gather cozily by a warm fire. In these past few days, we've been having a fire almost every evening, and it adds such a magical glow to our entire property. It's so warm and inviting. Who doesn't like to sit around a campfire and just share stories and just be in fellowship together? To add to the whimsical space, I'm gonna lead you over our sweet little bridge from our wedding here and into our hot tub area. How could you not have a hot tub when you have this beautiful space to enjoy? And so in the evenings, we love coming out to our hot tub, soaking in the tub, and then good news, in the summertime, we can turn that heat off and also treat it like a pool. So we actually got this on an Amazon Prime deal for only about $200. Although we live in a tiny house, I am by no means a minimalist. I am an essentialist, and I've got all the essentials right here in my she shed. Hi, kitties. All right, welcome to my she shed here. I also share this space with my two lovely Bengal kitties. We have Monarch, who is a brown 2-year-old Bengal male. He was actually the stud breeding male, so he is a very handsome man, and he's very hypoallergenic, doesn't really shed. Praise God, that's good news for Scott because he has allergies. Now Claire, on the other hand, is a snow Bengal. She has beautiful blue eyes, and because she is about in 8th generation, she does shed. Therefore, there are some allergies that Scott experiences, which is why we had to move them in here. But don't worry, we're gonna be building a catio soon, and they get lots of adventure time outside with their harnesses on, leash, and as you see right here, I take them on walks daily in their nice little stroller. This is the she shed. It is an incredible place where I have all of my clothes, all of my accessories, as well as Scott's. As you notice, he has a little bit smaller of a section here. We have it hidden here because, you know, Bengal cats are very active and they like to get in places where they shouldn't. It's incredible because I can come in here. Yeah, cats, we love them. We love cats. So we have this giant sofa chair which spins. It's huge. Both myself and Scott can fit on it, as well as our cats. Perfect cuddle chair because we just so happen to have a big TV right there. We like to watch a few shows, different movies, while I happen to be doing laundry at the same time, which is so convenient, having a full-blown washer and dryer in here right next to my clothes so I can wash stuff, watch TV, cuddle my cats, cuddle my husband, put my clothes away, tidy it up, and then hide it all behind these curtains so when we have guests, it does not feel like I'm just inviting people into my closet.
Thanks to our sponsor Earth Breeze for keeping us smelling oh so fresh. Clean clothes are nice, right? But do you wish there was a less wasteful, less bulky detergent option? Look no further than Earth Breeze Eco Sheets. While they look like typical dryer sheets, they're actually ultra-concentrated, liquidless laundry detergent. With all the hard, dirty work we're doing around the tiny homestead, we need a detergent that works hard too. So we love that it's tough on stains and odors. Did you know 500 million detergent jugs end up in landfills and oceans every year? So please consider making the switch to help reduce destructive, single-use plastic waste. It's a more convenient option too. Goodbye heavy lifting with Earth Breeze's lightweight cardboard packaging that saves a ton of space. It's better for sensitive skin. Dermatologists tested, hypoallergenic, and free of bleach, dyes, and parabens. Go to earthbreeze.com/tinyhouse to get started with 40% off. That's earthbreeze.com/tinyhouse for 40% off your subscription.
All right, that's it for the she shed. Now let's go see the tiny house. Welcome to our humble abode.
Yep, where you're standing right now is 160 square feet, 8 by 20. And we got, with the second floor, 250 square feet total.
It was mandatory to not only have someplace we can stand up next to our bed, but also have some extra storage space with that second loft right there. So once upon a time, this was just kind of a shell, but we made it practical and aesthetic. All right, so where we're standing right here used to actually be our living room with a couch, and we had a real life-size Christmas tree in here. So this space right here has gone through so many different evolutions. We are constantly switching it up, trying to adapt to the season we're in. We decorate seasonally. The storage totes are right up there. We have one storage tote per season, and we go all out. And right now it's spring, so happy spring. We love to have our meals here at this table. We also have a little workspace for us to do our business, our devos. I like to sit in this cute little chair right here, read my Bible, have my coffee from my cute little coffee machine, and sit by this fireplace right here. And it actually gets really warm. It'll heat this place up so fast. So in this season, heat's not on and it's not coming on for a while because we got that AC cranking as summer is upon us. But the aesthetic is important here. Who doesn't want to sit by the fire, like I said, outside? So we got fire everywhere. So up next we have our kitchen, and it's not going to be a long tour because it happens to be right here. Once upon a time, this was a slab of just gray countertop. The whole place was gray, and that is not my cup of tea. So I knew that butcher block was the move. Scott actually did this all himself. He ripped off the old, brought in the new, put this countertop in, put this sink in, which praise the Lord, because our previous sink was way too small and the appliances were silver. We just needed a little bit of a makeover. And so Scott did all the handyman and building, and then of course immediately once it was available for me, I filled it right up, made it cute, added the cute little touches. I love being able to see out the window. I love the big deep sink because we don't have too much room to cook. A lot of our appliances are either under the kitchen sink or behind this curtain. And then we got a skillet that just plugs right in. It's a giant skillet, fits right here. We cook stuff up pretty easily. It's great. But again, Scott, I will admit, is the better cook and the better dishwasher. And then what's also really cool is we have storage right above, and it's really nice because it's a latch system. We store some of our cutlery, our dish rags, things like that up above, as well as we have a super secret snack one, but I won't show you that one. So on this side over here, it's actually quite convenient because behind here we have our vitamins and supplements, as well as any spices, seasonings, oil, honey. We love honey. And then right here, it is a smaller fridge, so not your standard fridge, so it can be a little tricky sometimes getting everything to fit in there, especially when we attempt meal prepping. But we have considered getting a deep freezer for outside so that we can plan ahead with our meats, especially because we have a grill. We like to cook outside. That is going to be our predominant area where we cook up our meats and cook in bulk. And then behind this curtain, it does get a little crazy in there because we're in a tiny house and we're working with minimal storage. I'll give you a little peek, but this is a judgment-free zone. I know we're not at Planet Fitness, but we're human. We keep all of our snacks up here. Scott is in the process of building a slide-out drawer. It's going to be so much more convenient. He just installed lights in there so that we're no longer creeping in the dark for our snacks. But we try to keep our plates and bowls to a minimum. We only have 4 bowls, 4 small plates, 4 big plates, just basic silverware. We try to keep everything pretty easy to clean, pretty minimal.
I'm full-time ministry. I also work part-time as a financial coach and live in large in a tiny space, and formerly did van life after graduating college. Loved that life. When I was in Colorado, I felt like God told me to plant roots. Came back to Florida, planted roots, and met this beautiful woman, and the rest is history.
I radically got saved after I graduated college. Jesus just transformed my life because he led me to East Coast Christian Center. There's a young adult community called the Mezzanine for ages 18 to 30. Now I'm the mezzanine coordinator and the apprenticeship director alongside Scott, so I'm also in full-time ministry now, and I love it.
I always liked the alternative lifestyle personally, and it afforded me the ability when I did van life to see more and to do more, and that's really what I wanted, for sure. Actually, I was planning on doing a schoolie build before we came across the tiny house living.
allowing us to live tiny without a mortgage really allows us to experience like financial freedom and freedom in travel, freedom in our relationships, this hybrid like indoor-outdoor living where we don't accumulate a lot of stuff. Now, by no means am I a minimalist. I would say I'm an essentialist. I definitely have all of the essentials, maybe a little bit more. So on our way into the bathroom, I want to say something. Although I said I'm not that handy, I did build this sliding bathroom door. I'm a girl who likes to recycle. So let's turn those fence posts into a sliding door for the bathroom. And so I did a little bit of cutting and shaving, some painting, and then found this really adorable mirror at Target, put it on there so that we have a full body view for those fit checks. However, we established this before we fixed the leveling of our home. Once we had a hurricane strap down our house, we added some cement slabs under our tiny house, kind of fixed the leveling. And so now it is slightly crooked. So when it's about halfway, it slams shut and it startles me like all the time. All right, we're in the bathroom now, and this used to not be what it looks like. We used to actually have a really small sink pan, like a literal sink pan on the floor. I would have had to step into it, duck down, tiptoe, and like do a little twirl to wash all of this hair, and it was not happening. So he decided that we would build a full outdoor standing shower on stilts, and I was like, are you sure that the neighbors are not gonna see me? Rest assured, it's covered, it's secure, it's private, and it is wonderful. Ta-da! So we started out with no screen on top. And so we have 12 oak trees on our property, which for the first 6 months of not having a screen made a mess. But it was also so beautiful to know that like we're fully showering out in nature, looking up at the stars, looking up at the trees. When you live tiny, it's important to make it work for you. You get to DIY and get creative and just make it really feel like home. And so this was an absolute essential for us. And I know for you Northerners, I know it gets so cold. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. This would not be happening if we were anywhere other than Florida. This is our second new and improved door, coated it a million times. It's white, which I like better, and we just continue to seal around the doors and dial that in just to make sure that it's really secured, because we want to keep the moisture out of the tiny house. Although we have a dehumidifier in there that fills up like every single day, it's important to keep all the moisture out, especially in Florida. So I'm very blessed, especially by my husband, who put all this labor of love into a beautiful space that I get to enjoy every day.
So now we're in the loft. This is our master bedroom. One of the deal breakers for me when we got into the tiny house living was, I said, we have to be able to stand where we go to sleep. I've been in a few tiny houses. One of the things that personally for me that I don't jive with is having to bear crawl into bed. I like to be able to stand, be able to have a change of clothes that I can just throw on before I go downstairs. And so when we walked in here and I saw the openness, the height of it, and also the fact that I could actually stand in the loft, I was sold. This is huge for me. And it was very important that it had this feature. But you'll notice we have our bed here. There's not as much space as there could be. One of the reasons for that is we originally had a foam bed that was sitting right on top of it, which gave us more space. However, we found that we needed a little bit more expensive bed. Is one of the things we learned as a newly married couple, is being able to get better sleep. So we purchased the new one. What's cool about this one is it actually goes up and down. And originally we were like, we're not gonna have a TV up here. You know, it's nowhere. Now we have a TV because now we can lift up the bed so we can actually watch TV, which is awesome. It almost plays into this kind of multi-use where it can become almost like a living room in a sense. We break out some trays, we can have some popcorn and enjoy ourselves. I love everything we've done up here. One of the small little things I would have done is we upgraded to our dual split, but we put the dual split against the wall facing the door. I would have put it on the far end at the back of the tiny house pointing toward us to get a little bit more airflow. The way we compensate with that is we have a fan. I have it on a timer. It clicks on at 9 p.m. and runs until 9 a.m. That's been suitable for us. For me, after losing my grandfather and my dad, I needed a place I could call home again. So having this land, having this home, being able to build it with my wife is just everything, and I'm so blessed. Basically, my buddy Jason, he messaged me on Facebook. He goes, dude, you have to check out this thing. It was a tiny house. There was already 100 views on it. It was up for 5 minutes. And I'm like, we gotta go check this out because it was this super, super affordable price. It blew my mind. It was a shell, basically. But there was a line of cars outside. We had just gotten engaged. We had the property, but we needed a house to fill it. And I'm thinking to myself, I gotta build a tiny house out. We're about to get married. We obviously wanna move in together.
When we 6 months to get me a home. So.
I know, and it was my dream to walk my bride across the threshold of a home I built-ish. So it was great. I was really nervous though because we had to wait in line to get a tour of this house.
We were in agreement that we wanted this tiny house. We didn't get to talk finances yet.
Yeah, we literally were just like, let's do it.
But the other couple, they approached and we met them and we looked at each other and we looked at them and we said, we have peace about it. And they looked at each other and looked back at us and they said, we have peace about it too. Like while we were in here praying, they were out there praying, and we were all in agreement that whatever it took, we would make it work.
What was wild about that too is, Godcidentally I'll say, is that lady had the same exact job that Hannah had at the church that she was serving at, like full time. It blew my mind. And what was so cool is that they gave us what I like to call the honeymoon deal. They made it so affordable. So we were very, very, very grateful for that. This whole place was a labor of love, yeah. I would say that it takes a village, honestly. And one of the pros of being so plugged into community around here and planting those roots is we had so many people come and help us. One of my favorite moments was my bachelor party. I had all my guys, all my boys. We came out, and instead of doing whatever else we could have done, they all showed up for me, and we had this huge knockout blowout work party, if you will. So it was just this last hoorah before I got married, and it was so sweet to me because of all the things we could have done. Them just helping me get to the finish line for the wedding day was so clutch. So the tiny house itself, the way it came was $25,000, which phenomenal. I mean, I don't mean to brag about that. So I know, because I know the tiny houses have skyrocketed since then, but huge, huge blessing.
This is one of the very few places where you can own the land and the tiny house. Like our value on Zillow went up to like $170,000, which just blows my mind. But for the record, we plan on keeping it forever. Like our tiny house, our land.
The lot was $57,000 total. So for less than $100,000, all the bells and whistles. And we were fortunate because of a small portion of it, inheritance from my dad, a large part from investments. Now that we have that baseline, paying the taxes, $700 a year in taxes.
Small HOA fees.
It was worth it because, you know, some could say, well, you should have put a portion of that money and put it in investments or stuff. And in my mind, I'm thinking, this is an investment. Like, the investment is the land I'm standing on. For me, I've always loved adventuring and I've always loved the outdoors. Because we've organized our space the way we have, we get to experience the best of both worlds. It doesn't matter where I've ever lived, I have only ever used a certain amount of spaces anyway. And so if you think about it, we're just knocking off the fluff and just experiencing the best of both.
I'm surprised that never have I ever experienced that feeling of like, I'm so crammed, I need space, like, you're in my space. Like, somehow we've made it work to where we just enjoy everything about our property. Some people have a house with many spaces and many rooms. I feel like we would feel so far away. Like, I'd be like, hello, 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 are you here? And it would like echo across the house, and it would just be so weird. But I just love being able to spend so much time with you. And also, we are adventurers, so we're out adventuring quite a bit.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Instagram for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.